Good evening and thank you for joining us. Our top story this evening, with the horrific after effects of the winter storm that struck the area a few weeks ago fresh in everyone's mind. Today the Chamber thanked the employees from Golden Valley Electric for their extreme efforts. Afterwards, the president and CEO for the Golden Valley Electric Association said they had learned a lot from storm repairs and were prepared for the next issue should it arise. The big news of the day was that GVEA announced they had purchased the contract for the Healy coal power plant and hoped in the near future to have it online to provide a consistent power source and lower rates to their customers.
What we hope to do is start the plant in the first quarter of 2015, and it may be a little bit longer, but around that time frame. And the plant will produce power very cost effectively using coal. And like I've mentioned before, we're going to have the best clean coal technology available, best environmental controls possible for that plant. And we've got a very long 300-year supply of coal, so it's going to be a very stable cost, and we won't see the fluctuations in the cost of power that we've seen once we get this Healy 2 plant on.
A Fairbanks man has been jailed on charges that he raped a woman on Saturday. 33-year-old Jose Galindo is accused of first-degree sexual assault. The victim said that she had been out drinking with Galindo and she asked him to take her home. She said instead he took her to his house where the assault occurred. Galindo told police he was being falsely accused and wanted an attorney. He was arraigned Saturday and was being held without bail. Not guilty pleas today for a Fairbanks man who was arrested on outstanding warrants totaling $100,000. 43-year-old Philip Wallace is charged with multiple felony drug charges along with felony escape. Wallace was detained this weekend after police were called to a gas station by a witness who suspected he was drunk. He was originally arrested in 2012 after leading police on a high-speed chase down Airport Way. Wallace fled from officers at speeds exceeding 120 miles per hour and was finally captured after fleeing on foot. He was then found to be in possession of a controlled substance and charged with felony manufacturing and delivering. Wallace was also listed as an escapee from the North Star Center. Trial in the case is scheduled for mid-February. People affected by the storms in November may be eligible for state assistance. News Center 11's Monty Bowen has details.
According to an announcement today from the State Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Management, Interior Assistance covers damage from the storms which buffeted the Fairbanks area from November 5th through November 14th. For residents of the cities of Fairbanks and North Pole, as well as the Fairbanks North Star Borough. They are getting the system for applying up and running.
We're going to be publishing that online website and hotline number no later than December 6th. We want to have sufficient staff in place to make sure that all of the calls are being answered, that people are receiving the service that they deserve, and they're getting through that application process as quickly as possible.
In order to serve the large geographic area and numerous Alaskans affected by the events, they will establish several ways to apply. They're also working with emergency management in the Fairbanks area to establish a disaster assistance center, and they will announce a location within the next few weeks.
At the Disaster Assistance Center, people can go in and apply in person, fill out their application. We'll also have verification teams working from the DAC, and they'll be going out to those who have applied to their homes and verifying the damage so we can move past the application and verification process and into the eligibility determination.
People wanting to apply can get all the information on the state website as it becomes available there. That link is available at our site, webcenter11.com. Monty Bowen, News Center 11.
All right, well, the weather certainly felt a little warmer today, but there's one person who has the answer to that. Mike Schultz joins us now with our first look at weather. Mike.
Hey, Dale, you're right. If you don't like cold weather, good news. It looks like our cold snap is coming to an end. We're looking at warmer temperatures starting tomorrow and moving in through the weekend. It's all being brought in from the west and the southwest, a pretty strong flow of moisture, but most of the moisture is going to stay south of the Alaska Range, but the warm air is going to circulate up around us, and we're looking at temperatures, like I said, above normal starting at least into Wednesday and probably going into like the weekend, like I said, Saturday and Sunday, maybe even some snow in the forecast later on. We'll talk about all the weather in general a little bit later on. Daryl?
Very well. Thank you, Mike. When we come back, investigators continue to probe the crash of a plane near St. Mary's that left 4 dead. Also, Alaskans will soon see a drop in the unemployment insurance tax rates they pay. Those stories are next. Stay with us. And welcome back. The 6 survivors of a fatal plane crash Friday near the Alaska village of St. Mary's continue to recover while investigators look into the cause of the crash. 4 people died when the Cessna 208 went down. An investigator with the National Transportation Safety Board interviewed survivors, while another investigator continues work at the site of the crash. Residents of nearby villages found the wrecked plane in the fog with help from one of the passengers who walked nearly a mile to reach the rescuers. The 6 who made it out of the plane alive were flown to Anchorage for medical treatment.
Up here, that's our people. And we take care of our people no matter how far the distance was, we'll be there. You can be thankful for the ones that survived. You can be thankful even for the ones that are gone, that you got to know them.
Governor Sean Parnell says he'd like to see state spending well below current levels for the upcoming fiscal year. Parnell is expected to release his budget proposal next week. He says revenues are expected to be lower because of lower oil prices and declining production. The legislature earlier this year passed an oil tax cut aimed at spurring more production. Critics said the cut could put the state treasury at risk, but Parnell says the revenue coming in under the new tax will be comparable to that of the old system at current prices. He says he wants to address one of the biggest drivers of the budget, the nearly $12 billion unfunded pension liability. He also wants a capital budget focused on maintaining state infrastructure and finishing projects already started. Alaskans will soon see a 22% reduction in unemployment insurance tax rates, that according to Governor Sean Parnell. The total savings for residents will be around $89 million. The reduction comes just months after the passage of the governor's bill updating Alaska's unemployment insurance system, allowing for suspension of increases when the Alaska UI Trust Fund is deemed solvent and removing limitations on decreases. Alaska workers pay 27% of the average benefit costs and employers pay 73%. The Alaska Department of Labor and Workforce Development will begin mailing rate notices to employers this week. A UAF biology professor has developed an exciting protein formula which can protect muscles during weight loss. He will talk about the nutritional supplement and his research tomorrow night at UAF. News Center 11's Tyson Paris-Hansen has more in this week's health report.
Professor Robert Coker has a lot he wants to share with the public.
Instead of just doing things at the university level, to try to take those findings and move them to the public, and so they can the community and the public can derive the most benefit.
He'll share his findings at a UAF lecture on aging and the natural loss of muscle. The idea is protecting muscle strength is crucial for the elderly when losing weight.
For an older person that is, say, a little bit overweight, normally that you wouldn't want to try to lose weight because you'd also lose muscle with that weight loss program. And so what we've tried to do is to develop a meal replacement formulation that people could use, older people could use, to help them lose weight and maintain their muscle at the same time.
Essential Blend is their Alaska-based company that will market these meal replacement formulas in the coming years. Professor Coker and his colleagues say there's more to health than the nutritional supplement alone, but it will provide a good starting point for some.
As people get older, and if they are also overweight, their fitness levels are usually pretty low, and so it's hard for them, I wouldn't say impossible, but very difficult for them to burn enough calories to lose the weight that they want to lose. And so this gives them kind of a shot in the arm, so to speak, to help them preserve their muscle, lose a little bit of weight, become more physically active, and provide themselves with a better and higher quality of life.
The free presentation starts tomorrow night at 5:30 in the Scheibel Auditorium on UAF. Tyson Paris-Hansen, News Center 11.
The Health Report is brought to you by the Ear, Nose, and Throat Clinic, located in the Medical Dental Arts Building. Call 456-7768.
Joe Cook is waiting in the wings with sports, including tonight a new Nanook Corner and some high school wrestling. All that and more after the break.
Hello, Interior Alaska. Joe Cook back in Sportsy for you this evening with some Tuesday sports. Tonight we start with a Nanook Corner feature. We catch up with the team that hasn't been in action for a while, but they're achieving things even without competing. Now, how was that? You'll see why the Nanook swim team is poised for one of its best seasons. The last time the Nanoks were in the pool was against Loyola Marymount back on November 2nd. It's been over a month, but a lot has changed. Alaska is ranked 19th in the country with 15 top 25 national times in 13 different events. This weekend they head to Federal Way, Washington for the Husky Invitational. Last year they placed 7th. One of the big things for the Nanoks this year is their relay teams. In the 200 medley relay, for instance, Margot and Victoria Adams, Benty Heller, and Eileen Audit are ranked 5th in the country with a 1 minute 47.7 second time.
It's kind of intimidating, but it's also kind of exciting because we're ranked #1 going into it, so everyone's like, oh, that team from Alaska. They don't really know who we are, but we're ranked #1, so it's exciting.
I think the relays are going to be the more exciting events. We're ranked top 3 in all of them for our A relays, and that's my favorite event is the relays, so I don't know, it's pretty exciting.
This weekend, 3/4 of our medley relay are Alaskans, the 2 Adams sisters and Eileen, and so that's particularly gratifying for me to take a relay that's predominantly Alaskan swimmers to a huge meet and be seated first in the 200 medley relay. So we're real excited about that.
But Coach Scott Limley has his team focused on the task at hand, and they have to get back in the pool this weekend in order to maintain and improve upon this great start to the season.
If you do the work in the water, it shows, and they've done the work from day one. It's been a great season, and we're really prepared for this meet. And we haven't been racing for a month. Every other team in the country has posted some really fast times, and they've pushed us out of those top spots, so we want to get back in them.
Nanook Corner, brought to you by Sports Medicine Fairbanks.
And the Nanook men's basketball team ended their preseason tournament slate with back-to-back losses. The Riverside, California trip wasn't too good as the Nooks dropped a game to Azusa Pacific on day 1, and the Nooks fell to Cal Baptist over the weekend 70-59. In the final day of the Aries End in Suites CBU Classic, Alaska shot 28% for the game, while the Lancers had a balanced attack with 6 players with at least 8 points. Ryan Burke had a team-high 14 points. Joe Slocum had a game-high 17 for the Nooks. Rashad Allen and Andrew Kelly both had 12. Alaska has their first conference game this weekend against, of all teams, UAA in Anchorage. But here's some good news from the Alaska basketball programs. After the women's team finished second in the North Star Invitational Tournament, which matched their best finish in the tournament's 12-year history, point guard Benisa Bulaya was named Era Alaska Nanook of the Week. During the North Star, Bulaya averaged 12 points, 3.7 assists, 2.7 rebounds, and 2 steals per game. As the Nooks went 2-1, she also shot 72% from the free throw line. The junior point guard had a game-high 18 against Lise McCray in the semifinals. The Nanook start their GNAC season at home this week against the top 2 teams arguably in the conference of Seattle Pacific, #6 in the country, and Montana State Billings. They were picked to win the conference this year. We'll have more on those big matchups this week. And over the weekend, area high school wrestling teams got on the mats and heated up the Hutchinson Gym on Saturday's Hutchinson Meltdown. In the end, it was North Pole who emerged as the champions. The Patriots were pretty dominant, winning 3 consecutive weight classes twice during the tourney. They got 242 points to win the team title. Cameron Idy got a title at 145 pounds, David Best at 160, and Garrett Bennett at 220. Those were some of the title lists for North Pole. Allison was second with 121.5 points. Lathrop was right behind them at 119 for third. Galena was fourth, followed by West Valley and Hutch. Allison's Caleb Dunlap got a close 3-2 win for the 126-pound title. Nate Ezel won in 50 seconds to take the 132 title. Lathrop's Joe Dickinson won the 170-pound class, and Jacob Wharton won 182 for the Malamutes. Hutch head coach Greg Evershed believes this is one of the best tournaments for wrestlers late in the season in the interior.
It's actually great for everybody. It's usually, the last couple of years we've been the only tournament in the interior. And so, it's a chance for us to wrestle the 4A schools because we are on different seasons. So we get to see how we match up against them and see where we are and if we're ready for our regional tournament, I think typically the response is the same from all the coaches. They all enjoy this tournament. A lot of them come back just for this tournament every year. It's, a good, fun tournament, and they get some good competition.
And that'll do it for sports tonight. Thanks for rocking with me for a little while. For more KTVF sports, just go to Twitter, YouTube, our app, and webcenter11.com. Stay warm, Alaska. Mike Schultz is next with your full weather forecast, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey everyone, welcome back into the Fairbanks Evening News. Mike Schultz with you once again, taking a look at the weather. I was talking about warmer temperatures. Usually when you get warmer temperatures, you think of winds. No winds involved with this, at least at the lower levels. The higher levels, we're going to get the warm winds. That'll be a continued flow of moisture coming up from the tropics, which will work its way down and possibly could see some freezing precipitation in the form of freezing rain by Thursday. We'll talk more about that in just a little bit. And that was our photograph. We're going to show it to you once again. This one was sent in by Bill Brophy. We'll call this a Denali Fire Sunset. You can see why. The sky is on fire, and there's a beautiful shot of Denali in the foreground there. Again, Bill Brophy sends us some great photographs. If you have a photograph to share, send it to photos@ktvf11.com. Now, once again, we are talking about our Fab Photo calendar that's out and about right now. 13 different locations, including Pollen Environmental, I should say. They're located on Van Horn, and they're one of many places that are giving them away free. So get yours while they still last. All right, what's going on at the airport right now? 5 degrees after a high of 9 degrees. The low last night, 18 below. Record high in 1934. Record high 49 in 1916. Sunrise and sunset about 4.5 hours of daylight exactly. A loss of 4.5 minutes from yesterday. And temperatures around the interior look like this. Pretty consistent. Delta Junction, the coolest spot, 2 degrees below zero. Otherwise, 5 degrees at Fort Wainwright and Fairbanks, North Pole 4, Allison Air Force Base 6, Nenana at 2 degrees, and Denali Park actually a little cooler at 6 degrees below zero. Rest of the state looks like this. Again, looking at skies clearing across southeast Alaska, around the Anchorage Bowl. Some showers in the Cold Bay area. Up and down the west coast, things looking pretty good. 28 degrees at Nome, snow showers at Barrow, and partly cloudy skies at Fort Yukon. Lower 48 weather. Again, we're talking about quite a bit of weather going on down there, and it's in the form of snow. Some of it heavy at times. Looking for close to 10 inches of snow near the Minneapolis-St. Paul area over the next couple of days. And in contrast, heavy rain down across the Gulf Coast states. Look at the satellite and radar. Pink indicating where it's frozen precipitation, so you can see where the cold air is diving all the way down as far south as Salt Lake City. And then, of course, the heavy rain moving across the Gulf Coast states. And temperatures tonight, it's going to feel like 40 below near Bismarck, North Dakota. And around Billings, 34 degrees below zero. So a lot of cold air diving all the way down as far south as Denver. Again, being brought in by the jet stream, pulling all that cold air in from Canada. That's going to roar back up later on this week and bring lots of rain over the eastern half of the country. So some pretty interesting weather going on there. Back to Alaska for tomorrow. The northern sections, blowing snow for Barrow, snow showers at Nome, and a few clouds in the Fort Yukon area. Here in the interior, we'll be looking mainly at mostly cloudy high clouds and not nearly as cold in Fairbanks and Haley, while over southeast Alaska, it looks like mostly sunny skies at Ketchikan, a few clouds for Juneau. Over to the southwest, rain for Cold Bay, slight chance of rain for Kodiak, and freezing rain for Bethel, while over the Anchorage Bull area, and mainly just areas of fog and cloudy skies at Homer, a few clouds for Valdez. Once again, time for our kids' weather. And this week, talking with the kids from Wood River Elementary School. Here's a young lady tonight with a picture to share with us.
My name is Sia, and I'm in Miss Bissonnette's 4th grade class at Wood River Elementary School. This is my weather picture. This is the sky, and this is a fallen tree, and this is a power line, and another tree, and a caribou.
Tomorrow night, a young man will be here with a unique question for us. Here's your forecast for the remainder of the night. 7 below, not as cold with mostly high clouds. Tomorrow's forecast, 8 degrees above, partly cloudy, warmer in the hills with the inversion going on. And the extended forecast, look at the temperatures by Friday. 22 above with maybe some freezing rain on Thursday, then maybe some rain and snow mixed on Friday, then maybe cloudy skies and a chance to snow again on Sunday, but temperatures way above normal for this time of year. And after our freezed temperatures we had over the weekend, that's kind of a nice relief, actually. I think Joe likes that better, too.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember this time last year. I think it was, 20 below?
Something like that.
Consistently. So.
All right, thank you, Mike. And that will wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. As always, we are glad you could join us.
And tonight on NBC Nightly News, the deep freeze coming for much of the country, even for places that usually escape the cold. That's next with Brian Williams.
A reminder, join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
That's going to do it from all of us here at the News Center. Have a great night.
Good night.